Hi, I'm Jay Monte with TruFan Boxing. I'm joined here with Sean Sullivan of Boxing Digest. Sean, a big weekend at the heavyweight boxing level. Tomasz Adamek, seems like the bigger they come, the harder the struggle. This time it was with Grant. How did you see that fight?
Well, you're right. There were some moments where he did struggle, Adamek, but I had the fight going away for him in points, and so did the judges. They gave him about 10 of the 12 rounds pretty much, and I agree.
I scored it a little bit closer, and at the end of the fight, the judges did give it to Adamek, but Grant was basically unmarked. Adamek had bruises all over his head. I thought Grant didn't do enough. He could have won the fight, but it just didn't do enough.
Right, he started too slow.
He started slow, but it was a good fight. It was a good, entertaining fight. One thing that Grant said after the fight, no more guys under 220, which tells you there's hope for heavyweights that are on a lighter level. Just a question, this weekend we have Toney-Couture. How do you see that play out?
Well,
in the mixed bag of boxing and all the other stuff.
I mean, as a boxing guy, I guess I'd have to root for Toney, but realistically, given that he's going into the cage for the first time, how can he go against Couture, really? That's how I see it. Toney has one facet to his game, boxing, and he's supposed to learn all these other things of mixed martial arts in one training camp, whereas Randy Couture has been training for it his entire career and has been at the top of the sport for so many years. You got to go with Couture.
Interesting. Toney's another one who came up from lighter weights to become a heavyweight like Adamek. Who are your top heavyweights getting back to boxing? Who are the top heavyweights today?
Okay, well, you have the two Klitschkos, of course. They're 1 and 2. Vladimir, then Vitaly. Then the WBA champion, David Haye, would have to be number 3. And then 4 and 5 is pretty much interchangeable. Alexander Povetkin had been in the top 5. I mean, he could still be in the top 5 given how weak the division still is, but he had the opportunity to fight Vladimir Klitschko on September 11th and pulled out for a variety of reasons. Based on that, the IBF, which was where he was the mandatory, took him out of their rankings, and stepping up is Samuel Peter, fighting Vladimir Klitschko in a rematch of a fight from 5 years ago in which he lost a unanimous decision despite knocking Vladimir down 3 times in the fight. So it's going to be an interesting fight. You have boxing skill versus power, September 11th in Germany. First fight was in Atlantic City.
Just points to ask. Is there a need for a super heavyweight division these days? It's 2010. It seems half these guys are over 250 pounds. Is there a need for a super heavyweight?
That question comes up quite a lot. And because you have these huge behemoth-type fighters with the Klitschkos and Nikolai Valuev, who's not going to be around for a little while. He's going out for surgery, by the way. But no, I mean, adding another division to boxing, that's ridiculous. We already have 17. You have 17 weight divisions, 4 potential titleists per division. I mean, how much more diluted do you want to get?
Sean, just a note here, August 28th this weekend, Ivan Calderon is fighting. Tell us a little bit about Ivan Calderon of the lighter weight division.
Yeah, he's a 108-pounder, a light flyweight. He's been champion for years and years. He had a long career reign in strawweight, 105 pounds, and only recently moved up to 108 pounds, which doesn't seem like much to the average person, but really when you're fighting at that lower weight, 3 pounds is a lot. He's one of the best fighters pound for pound today, no question about it. He's one of the best purest boxers there is at the time right now. And he's fighting Giovanni Segura in a 108-pound unification. And Segura is a power puncher, brawler, and so you have a power puncher brawler against a slick boxer. The only thing is, Calderon is getting up there in age, and his last few performances, I've seen him slip a little bit. So normally I would have said Calderon wins this decision going away, but given that it's not really his weight class, he's fighting based on pure talent, and that's how he's winning. And you have a bigger guy, a brawler in Segura. But I still got to go with Calderon in this fight.
Okay. September's on tap. Any big fights on the horizon in September?
Well, besides the Klitschko-Peter rematch, on Mexican Independence Day weekend, is Sergio Mora is challenging Shane Mosley at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Now, that's an interesting fight for the West Coast. You have two Californians. Mosley's coming off the loss to Mayweather back in May, and Sergio Mora is coming back himself. He had one fight after the long layoff. He lost to the late Vernon Forrest, lost his crown, and then he had one fight in April on it was the Hopkins Roy Jones on the card, and he fought Calvin Green with the TKO. And so he's a talented boxer, but is he really on Mosley's level? We'll find out.
Or has Mosley lost anything in the last year?
It certainly looked like it against Mayweather, but that's Mayweather, so you can't really tell.
Just another fight I just want to go over is Felix Sturm is fighting New Yorker Giovanni Lorenzo, going to Germany. Lorenzo, what do you think of his chances? An American fighter going to Germany, what are his chances? Yeah, well, he says he's going to knock him out in 6.
That's certainly a question in boxing.
Yeah.
He says he's going to knock out Sturm in 6?
Yes.
Sturm, he's been a titleist for a long time. He's had a few different reigns at middleweight, and they're fighting on his home turf. If he wins, of course, he'll be I think, aside from Calderon, he'll be the only titleist from New York. But he's a brawler. He's an aggressive fighter. He has had lapses in the past, which led to his 2 losses, where he'll come on strong at first, and then just let the other guy, and then he'll coast and let the other guy take charge, and hopefully he's learned from those 2 losses.
Well, that's interesting. And these are the fights coming up in September. For Sean Sullivan Boxing Digest, I'm Jay Monte, TruFan Boxing. Be there in the square. Take care.
Want more? Go to IntersectTV.com to connect with the world of sports. Real-time updates, blog postings, and all the action you can handle. Intersect. IntersectTV.com, connecting you to the world of sports.